Welcome to the South Texas Amateur Tour Podcast, The Power Hour, with your hosts, Travis Salkowski, Dustin Hassan, Casey Graham, Jason Bird, and Michael Germanuelian. Good evening, South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. How we doing? Hope everyone is having a good night. It is Tuesday. It is 8:01. It is August the 8th. And we are here tonight to talk to you guys, recapping Brackenridge, an amazing weekend, really good golf being played. We have our new top 10, some changes in the top 10 list that we'll highlight. A bunch of tournaments open for sign up. We want to start talking about that and getting some stuff registered and getting everybody ready to go. We are in the last stretch of the summer season playoffs, and South Texas Match Play are going to be here in a blink of an eye. Had a long talk with Travis about that stuff this morning. It's going to be a crazy August and September. But before we do all that, before we jump into everything, let's go ahead and bring out our team. Joining us tonight for the first time in a while, welcome back to the show, Dustin Hassan.
What's up, South Texas Am Tour golfers? MD, glad to be here with you tonight. It is Tuesday. I am excited talking about the tour's return to Brack. It was great. I'm ready to kick this Tuesday night off.
Awesome, buddy. And the shirt looks great. The hair looks great. It's just all working for you tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Got my tan going.
I love it, and now we'll jump over to a guy who I'd say needs no introduction, but by God, he'll introduce himself. Travis Salkowski.
Woo! What's up, guys? Tuesday night. How's it going? DH on
Peace
the show
out's happening. Never needs
much.
an introduction, but we'll always take one.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. You know what? Live television never gets old because you never know, right? You never know. MD, what's up, buddy?
Man, recuperating. I guess I'm still recuperating from Sunday and the heat. But, man, just excited to be on, excited to be talking about Brack. It was a great weekend and a lot of good golf being played. It was
such a great day, such a cool tournament. Brackenridge Park, what a transformation on course conditions. Like immaculate. Like it was like we were never at Brackenridge Park before. But you're right. It was hot. It was, man, I wish Bird was here to tell us the actual statistics, but man, it sure felt like that was the hottest day of the year. It sure felt hot in the afternoon.
It was very hot. I mean, but shout out to all the golfers. Pace of play was
really good. Scores were really, really good.
Excellent.
I mean, it was great. The scores were about as good as Brackenridge Park's greens rolled, which is awesome to say. Yeah. Really good, right?
They've come a long way. I thought they were great.
Yeah, but it was hot. Good job, everybody, prepping and preparing for the heat. Tour ambassadors passed out 400 bottles of water to tour competitors throughout the day. So we did everything to try to help that we could. And man, it just was hot down the stretch. It was just one of those. It was one of those wins where the wind just felt like it was blowing the heat. I mean, we had fans, Dustin, Casey, and myself, and we had fans at the scoring area, and it just felt like we couldn't get a break. Like there was just no break from the heat. It was like a brick wall of heat. But what a really good tournament! What a great tournament!
Yeah, I mean, course conditions were immaculate. I thought the putting greens were a touch slow, but they were, I mean, as good a shape as they've ever been. The fairways look great. The tee boxes look great. The bunkers actually were in pretty decent shape too. Yeah, I mean, the whole course was pretty damn good.
Yeah, shout out to the crew there, Brack. I agree with you, MD. I think that the course was in great shape. It's been a while since we've been at Brack, and I know people were apprehensive, but I thought it was really good.
Huge field, 130
huge field
in the field. I mean, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it sure was.
I agree. Brack was awesome. Now, Scotty Williams, night and day. You were right. That's what I was talking to MD during course setup on Saturday, and I'm like, we haven't been at this golf course this year. we just haven't been here yet. And Robert Cano and his team on the Breckenridge Park maintenance staff did an amazing job. You could hear it in his voice earlier in the week when we were talking about setup. You could hear that he was excited to tell me that Brack was good. Like you could hear it. So shout out to those guys and that team. Freaking rock star. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, and even some of those little things like the rough was in great shape. The rough was friggin' deadly.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I mean, golly.
Some thick spots. The ball was really down in it. Yeah.
Like I thought the course played great. I thought it was good to be back there. Pace of play was fantastic. Scores were pretty solid. I see a couple of people in there who are going to get adjusted. And
I thought it was good enough to maybe not even play lift, clean, in place in the general areas.
I don't think anyone. I don't think minus if like someone in our group maybe went and hit a dirt patch.
Maybe seven.
I think. I think the only time I can tell you, I think the only time I did it, because and I played with Mark Kacheski, and he and I were talking about it. He's like, honestly, I don't really play it as the lift, clean, in place unless it's one of those things where like I've got a tree in my way and I can get a little bit of extra help on the angle.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That is not what it's designed for.
Well, I mean, it's lift, clean, in place. I get a scorecard. I'm well within my right to
gotta keep that tree in play, Mark.
Yeah.
Gotta keep that tree in play, buddy.
Well, there were. I mean, I'm gonna start calling ants and.
Yeah, I got ants. Lift, clean, in place. Ants. Dangerous situation. Cracks in the earth.
Cracks in the earth.
Right then.
I mean, Jason Bird is like
6 club lengths left.
Oh, he'll find something to get it. He'll find something.
Like I jokingly, I was in a fairway bunker and I had ants on my ball. I was like, ants.
I remember one time we were at TPC and Jason yelled, "I have an ant," like a singular ant.
That's pretty bird-like.
It's very bird-like. Yes, it is.
Doesn't hurt to ask, right?
It doesn't hurt to ask.
I have an ant here. Ant. One ant.
We'll blow it the hell out of there and get on with the shot.
Well, he's not even asking. He's just gonna let us know in hopes that we just move it. It's all good.
Yes, that we didn't catch the singular noun in his sentence. No, sir. You don't have ants. You have a singular ant. It is not a dangerous situation.
I mean, to be fair, wherever Jason walks or goes on a golf course is dangerous for him.
Well,
statistically,
he has a substantial amount of golf course injuries.
Like, he has way more golf injuries than anyone should. and they're not even like the
broken
normal
feet.
golf.
Wasn't
Yeah,
there?
like,
There's
he's
a broken hand. Wasn't there like an arm in a sling for a minute?
I mean, I want to know how many golfers throughout the year. Like, what is that stat? Like, what are the most, like, if I go pull up most common golf injuries and I show up like broken foot and broken hand and kind of stuff, it's going to be like nothing. No one does that.
Yeah, crickets. It's a fire ant, Greg Graff. I think everybody's allergic to fire ants. I think.
And if you don't, I mean, I still remember my first event was the Masters at Brack in 2013, and I hadn't really played, like, I've been playing golf, but like I never walked an event. I hadn't walked an event in a while.
Okay.
I remember I was sitting on the 11th tee box. We had a wait, and I sat there in the grass on the 11th tee box, and I just started to feel my legs getting chewed up. Didn't have fire ants in Illinois. That wasn't an issue. I could sit in the grass.
Oh man, I that reminds me of a story. I was playing at Cedar with Michael Freeman in like 2014. No, it had to have been 20. Yeah, real close to that. 2014, 2015, because Isaac was in diapers. Isaac is Michael Freeman's son. He's the exact same age as Caitlin, our daughter. And we were playing number one. And Isaac was playing in the bunker on number one when we were putting and just started screaming bloody murder. And Michael Freeman yelled, "Ants!" and ran like flagstick was like middle left and ran back over. And Isaac was just, full. Yeah. Well, I hate ants. Dangerous situation. I agree with Greg Graff. Jay Bird, you get relief.
But it looks like today Bird smashed his hand, stung by a wasp, and hit a tee in his eye today.
All in a day's work for Jay Bird.
All in a day's work for Jason Bird.
He couldn't play today. That's what I was told. I asked him to play today. He told me he couldn't play today.
And that was all before he got in 9 holes.
Yeah, I don't even get a text message. All I get is I can't make the podcast. That's all I get.
Make my tea time, but not the podcast.
Yeah, supposed to play golf with me. Cancels. Apparently plays golf with the Graffs.
I mean, that's the new A squad.
Oh my goodness.
Greg's looking for a retraction there to his comment.
He's like,
I'm done. I will be done contributing to the podcast comment section for the rest of the evening.
About to be a screenshot and a text to Bird going, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I love it.
Guess I don't get the invites anymore.
Yeah. Listen, never mind. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it.
Let's talk about our winners. Let's talk
I
about
love winners.
Cookie Mafia.
I'm going to talk about our winners, Cookie Mafia. Let's talk about how the fact that if you played your basic kind of golf this weekend, it wasn't worth anything on that golf course.
Maybe middle of the pack.
I thought some of the hole locations were pretty tricky. I thought
they were too. I really like the whole location on number 10 up at the top there. There was kind of on that spine there. That was a really good hole location.
Yeah, I liked 3 and 10. I think those are my two of the hole locations we haven't used in a lot of this year because of course conditions. So I like 3 on the left side, and then
I like 3 on the left side.
I thought 3 was pretty.
Another
scandalous.
one, number 5.
I was literally about to say 5 up front.
Right. I mean, it's really never there when we play an event. It's always kind of that back right spot. It's never really front left right there. That made it a little different shot. Playing in there. There wasn't a lot of room.
I mean,
I thought that was a good hole location.
You could definitely. We played at Brack in such meaningful events so many times throughout the years that you can kind of. There's that whole location rotation that somebody maybe on the podcast likes to use a lot when we go to Brack.
You guys,
front right on 11.
If it's a Sunday event, it's a Travis design. If it's a Saturday event, it's designed by me. Because it's all new. I will always try to put it in more different pin positions if I can.
Well, I mean, like that back nine, like Masters Sunday, Tour Championship Sunday. You know where a lot of those on the back nine are going to be. Like 10's going to be back left. 11
I
is
really
in that,
liked 14 up front.
11's in that front right corner. That might be my favorite hole location on the course. Either that one or the left middle on 18. I think that's such a cool shot. But back middle on 16, like right on 17.
Yeah.
Those 17, are such historic
always
tour hole location rotations, I guess, you know. It was cool to use like the right side of 6.
Yeah. Even a little bit deeper on that back right on 1 was kind of a different spot. Usually it's playing front
way
right.
back, right? It's never that far back.
Tucked way
cool.
back there. I liked, and I even liked number 2. Like number 2 was just on the front, on the right side, or on the left side, excuse me. I mean, that's a dangerous pin, but that's
real
a fun
tricky
little...
when that's up a tee box and in the front, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, is this not 4-iron today, but it's like 7-iron? Like, what's going on here?
Scott Williams.
No,
Dustin, was that drivable for you, Dustin?
Well, I took it down the left side. I flew it into that last tree on the right down there. So I had 35 yards or so.
Mark Kacheski and I both put it down the left side in the fairway, just up the slope to the green.
Oh, that's right. The tee box, that was the short one. On
way
the
up.
back.
Oh, yeah.
11 was short.
Way up.
Yes. Yeah, I believe the tour setup committee's thought process there was, man, if you get in that bunker, that's a tricky little bunker.
Yeah. Well, if you end up in the bunker on the left or in the front.
Yeah, both of if you try to be conservative now and hit 5-iron sand wedge or whatever.
Well, even if you try to play it conservatively and you pull it into the fairway bunker.
Yes. Yeah.
That is deadly how close that was to the edge. I mean, you either have to have that number dialed perfectly or you just have to say, okay, I'm going over the green or I'm going long. Location.
That's a really good pin. It is like a true 4-4. Like it's a freaking square over there. And I love that corner. I mean, it is 4 on, 4 from the right, and I love that spot.
14 too. 14 up front right there, kind of front left.
That I watched a lot of people, including myself and multiple groups that I saw there, all coming up short of it.
Yeah. Like
they all hit. And I either watched the ball just catch the front of the green and spin, or they just caught the top of the hill and it just didn't have enough to get up, and it just rolled all the way back down.
Well, it was playing back into the wind too.
Back in the day, that used to not be rough there. That used to be collar height all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
So that ball rolled a lot more down there. And the same thing at 18. I feel like the rough line on 18 is getting further and further up that hill as the years pass. I feel like that used to be another whole pace of collar cut there on that front slope on 18. But 14,
it saved me on 14. I was one of those that came up a little short, and it was playing back into the wind. It's back into the wind, but I don't think you really feel how hard it is up there, especially with the trees right there on 14. That second shot, kind of guarding it. I ballooned one up there, and you could see it just hit a wall, and it came up, a couple paces short of the green. It started rolling back, and if it's at collar length the whole way down, I mean, there's a lot of more balls.
I definitely have a golf course project going on right now, kind of in my backyard. I'll keep you posted on that as the summer progresses. But how cool would it be, talking about golf course design or architecture? How cool would it be if 14, both sides of the creek, and 18 on the green side, and maybe even 10, if that was fairway cut, like had the Augusta look on the creek, like all the way down to that drip edge. So if you were 1 foot short, it was going down.
17 was already doing that. I watched one of the guys in my group go for it with a driver, and he hit right into that side of that hill. and everything. I mean, the grass was super long, but everything kicked it straight back. It was still hard. 17 played tough if you were trying to go at it. But I think that'd be sick just to have that cut. I think 14 would just be diabolical to do that.
Yeah. Yes, it would.
Like,
absolutely.
Do it any other hole you want. 14 would just be brutal.
Yeah, both sides down there to that creek. That would be so good. Ooh, I like that.
Like you're gonna have that, or I was glad that 16's tee box was all the way in the back.
Yeah, the green tees were back there too, eh?
Because I mean, there's a lot of people just through the conversation I had. Everyone's just like, if that tee isn't in the back, I don't know what I'm hitting. Don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to punch it to 200 yards out.
Well, I guarantee you, the next time we're at Brack is Tour Championship weekend. And I guarantee you one of those 2 days, 16 will be the short hole. I guarantee you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that mentality down the stretch. If you're scoreboard watching and it's Tour Championship week and you got 15, 16, 17, and 18 to finish, and 18 is going to be back, well, if you get a shot on 16 and 17, let's go do it. I guarantee you that tee box will be up. For everybody watching that hates that hole,
you can
that
turn
tee box
14,
is
15.
going to be up.
You can turn 14, 15, and 16 into some of the three toughest holes in a row pretty easily. I mean, if you really, really wanted to, you can play 14 obviously any way you want. It still plays hard.
And 14 will be 36 right on Sunday.
Yeah, like you can take
15 will be back right.
15 back right or back left. I'd even play way up front right. And
how did 15 play this weekend with the tee box on the right side and the hole? Did you have to cover the bunker? Did it look like you had to cover the bunker?
On a direct line with the flag, I think it just kind of maybe caught the edge.
They changed that one, and that's one of the ones they changed. And
like for me, obviously playing like a draw, like I had to kind of play it a little bit out that way.
I mean, Dustin hitting like cut 9 iron there.
I mean, I hit a.
I think
I was only playing 130. It was playing 135.
It was playing like 132.
Oh wow!
I took pitching wedge to like 12 or 13 feet. The wind kind of chewed it a little bit, but I mean that was a good pin. And that was a tricky pin too.
I love that idea. Steven, I love that idea.
I love that.
1 year we played number 9 as a par 4 from the red tee box and the white tee box. And I manipulated the course handicap hole layouts, and that was the number 1 handicap hole. And it was so cool. And I've always thought about doing 16 from 18's tee box and then playing 18 up. But I just can't give you a way to practice that. Like you couldn't go to Brack today and hit that shot.
Well, it's an unteachable moment.
Oh well, listen, I don't want like I think that's the difference between an unteachable moment and like being blind. You know, maybe there's some truth to that. Steven
Evans is perfectly talented enough. He can go play that hole without having to practice it.
I think that would be great.
He's got the perfect shot shape for it on that back tee box. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I would love. Think about that. Number 9 as a par 4 from the white tee box is like 450, 460, right? And then 16 plus 30 yards. All of a sudden, 16's like 410 or 415, and all of a sudden, Brack becomes a pretty tricky par 70. You know.
I mean, right conditions, I think, too. I mean, that course, I think Brack is, I don't want to say it's an easy course. It honestly is
the easiest hard course on the planet.
Yeah. Like, if you get a really windy day out of that golf course, that back 9 can be brutal.
I I personally played Brack 1,000 times, right? I was the head pro there for years, right? And I've never played the front nine worth of shit ever. I have no idea why.
I mean, well, because there's no like you said, it's the easiest. It's an easy hard course. Like I honestly, my kind of plan going into Brack is like, okay, I just want to get through the first 4 or 5 holes at even, and then I can start to kind of work my way through.
You know, no driving range. Maybe you hit a wedge thin on number 1 and do something stupid and make a quick little bogey, and then all of a sudden you hit 4-iron 10 yards right, and you make a bogey on 2, and then you hit a tree on 3, and then you're in the parking lot. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely convenient if you're ready to leave after 3 holes.
Yeah, I did that a lot.
I've done that before.
MD has done that a couple times. One time we talk about a lot,
which I don't want to go into. Now
were we going to talk about the winners?
We were going to talk about the winners. We were talking, but we did. You know, we're talking about the difficulty of the course. I mean, and it's again, mediocre golf or just even good golf didn't mean shit this weekend unless you played extraordinary.
Get the job done. You had to be legit.
Dustin Hassan shooting. Yeah. What did you shoot, bud?
72.
72. Yeah, 72.
I mean, get you nothing.
Nothing.
I shot 74, and I'm a piece of shit.
I mean, good golf course. Shout out to that maintenance staff again. Before we run through these winners, I can't thank Robert Cano and the maintenance staff at Brackenridge Park enough. Not only did they turn that golf course around, cut and roll for the tour on Sunday. Those bunkers were perfect. Tee boxes mowed, fairways mowed. Really, really good job from the Brack maintenance team. Really good job.
Let's go ahead and dive into our winners. Let's officially close out Brack. Talk about the winners, look at the top 10, and then let's go ahead and look forward over the next coming weeks into what's coming up next. So Dustin Hassan, the official
Let's do it.
Recapper extraordinaire.
Let's do it, Andy. You want to start with Champ Flight?
Let's start with Champ Flight.
Love starting with Champ Flight. Mike Torres is just on a roll right now. Mike Torres shot -6. Now, he actually wins in a scorecard playoff. He wins it in the first hole of the scorecard playoff. But
265s?
There were 2. That's correct. Mike wins it in the first playoff hole. This is Mike's second individual win. This is a back-to-back individual win. I believe he shot 60, correct me if I'm wrong, Travis, 67 or 66 at Mission Del Lago.
I think he shot 66 at Mission Del Lago a few weeks ago.
He was playing great. I talked to him after the round. He said he's just feeling great right now. He's just on point with his irons, just laser focused. So, guy you're gonna have to look out for. He's on fire.
Really
Mike
good.
Torres, great
really
job,
good.
65 at Brack,
and a good dude on top of it.
Yeah, and I believe he had 1 bogey in that round. So, really good. Really good.
Yes, that is 66 with a bogey.
Pretty damn impressive.
Moving on to the net side, we've got Jackson Langford, -962. Jackson really kind of ran away with it on the net side. There he is. There looking fly.
He was the other
mirror
65.
shades.
Yeah, he was the other 65.
So it was a really good round there by Jackson. Great playing in Champ Flight. Really good job all around. Congratulations on the cookies. Congratulations on your win. Moving right along, we'll roll into First Flight. We'll stay on the gross side first. Congratulations to our very own Jay Bird. Jay Bird shot a -269. This was also a scorecard playoff win. I believe he won the first hole as well. Number 6, Jay Bird, scorecard playoff.
Not often those go in his favor.
His gross, yeah, that's right. His gross win. This is Bird. Bird's on a little bit of a roll now too.
And
the summer season, we'll see where does this put him in the point standings. We'll release that towards the end of the show. But Jay Bird feeling great right now.
And that's starting with a bogey. Bogeyed the first hole. got it back to even on 4, birdied 9 to turn at 1 under, feeling good, birdie, 11, 12, and 13. Of
Right.
course, bogeys 14, tough hole, whatever. And then tries to give it away on 16, double 16. Comes right back in birdie 17, gives one back. So it's always a roller
and we
coaster.
saw
of
him make
emotion.
that putt on 17. He hit one pin high right. He had about 15 to 20 feet. He buried it. He gave it a fist pump. He was excited. He knew how big that putt was. And so congratulations, Bird.
And when he gets in the zone and he starts feeling it, it's like an object in motion stays in motion. It's always that lean forward and it's pressing. And I love that. I love that walk. His body language reminds me of the way we walked on the Irish course at Kohler this year. It's just that little skip in the step. Mm-hmm. There's this extra damn, this feels good, and that's what his body language is like right now. So, shout out to Jaybird.
Jaybird also, I feel like he needs to go practice and play like shit beforehand. Like his go-to thing. I mean, he played with the graphs, and I'm pretty sure he went 58-36 in his practice round. And he'll tell you, he needs to go to the range, top the first 3 shots. He's like, I'm winning. He'll tell you straight up, and then he'll go out and play. And that's what happens. It's gonna be. I said it to Bird. I said the same thing to Casey because Casey was playing the golf ball that I thought was crazy. And I'm like, it's either a 69 or an 89 for you today, Bird. I'm like, it has to be one of the two. And there he goes. Did exactly what we thought.
Well, he's on a roll, MD. So he's one we're gonna have to keep an eye out for. If you see Jay Bird in your flight, you better bring your game. He's playing hot right now. He's playing hot.
Yep.
So moving right along, we'll keep it on the net side. First flight, we got Matt Garcia, 2-shot win over Zach Johnson on the net side. Matt Garcia -665. Really good playing. Another solid round, another solid score winner.
That was also
lots of bucket hats on with the Heat. If you got a bucket hat with the Heat, bring it, block some shade. But good job, Matt.
That was also the scorecard playoff E with Bird on the gross side.
Okay, there you go. Yep. Really good scoring. Moving right along, second flight. Let's continue the theme on gross. -4 wins, 67. Charles Gambrell really
putted really well.
Great
definitely
scoring. Great
handicap
scoring.
Slashed in half. Just went really low. But absolutely. Played great, putted well. Really good round from Charles Gambrell.
Really good round. Congratulations on your good round, Charles. -4. Way to play. And then moving along to the net side, our very own BG Bradley Gilbert. Bradley Gilbert collecting another cookie. He's another one you got to look out for. Guy's playing well. He's been playing well going back to the beginning of the year, really. -9 on the net side, good enough for a 1-shot lead.
I've been on the Brad Gilbert train for a minute now.
Yeah.
You've been on for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is it. He's playing great. Talk about somebody whose chin is up and body language is rocking good right now. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, and he had a hole in one. I can't remember if it was beginning of this season or towards the end of last season. But really, once he had that hole in one during an event, he's been just rolling since. So
right there.
He's inspiring me to go find a caddy somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, and how about the caddy bib with the
caddy
logo?
bib? Feeling great.
Yeah, awesome. Really good job, BG. Moving along, third flight, gross. We've got a scorecard playoff, a hell of a scorecard playoff here. Kevin Keeney and Chris Arnold, they both shot 77. Kevin Keeney comes out with it on the 5th playoff hole.
Playoff hole?
Arnold. 5th playoff hole. I verified that before we came on live. Talk about weather in the storm. Talk about someone who tried to give it away as well. You were talking about Bird trying to give it away. I think Kevin bogeyed the last 4 holes, or 3 of the last 4 holes. Kevin, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but as Travis would say, that's a great way. What do you say? Maximize your winning. Keep the handicap where it is. That's an efficient win right there.
You always want to win. You always want to win gross in your flight in a scorecard playoff, right? Never sacrifice handicap strokes where you don't. It's perfect handicap What did I say? Perfect handicap manipulation or
You could
something
call it
like
manipulation.
not manipulation,
Yeah, I
but
know.
management, perfect handicap management. But yes, a whopping 5 bogeys on the back nine, 3 to close out and still win a whopping scorecard playoff. And fun fact, waiting list entry, Kevin Keeney with the victory cookie. So everybody watching, even if an event sells out, send that email, get on the waiting list, right? It's where dreams come true, from the waiting list.
Right. Good deal. And then on the net side, 3-shot victory, Gregory Graff over Matt Tomerlin, 63. There's Greg there smiling away. Guy never doesn't have a smile on his face, but
what
really
a good
round
dude
there.
he is.
Great dude. Good round there, Greg. No, Greg
Greg
collecting
Graff,
another cookie there, Greg.
Greg Graff, was that with the ball marker being used there for the win? You can comment and let me know below. Good win, buddy.
Assist. Moving on, fourth flight gross. Great playing by Kevin Tennyson, 79. I believe I spoke to him after the round. I believe that was an individual best for him.
It was. He was so excited, we forgot to take his picture. He was so excited. I mean, it was hugs and high fives and everything around, and we were so excited and we were having such a good time that we forgot to take pictures from this flight.
Yeah, he was pumped. So really good guy, Kevin. Great job. Congratulations on your low round. Well deserved. Congratulations on the cookie. Keep it up, bud. And then on the net side, same thing. We got Lazaro Gonzalez -5, 3-shot victory over Fernando Paulus there in fourth flight. So really good job there, fourth flight. Continuing the great play. We'll move it right along into our fifth and final flight. Gross with a score of 83. Jermaine Bowen takes it. 3-shot victory. There he is there smiling with the cookie as the sun's starting to go down towards the end of the day. Really good job there, Jermaine. Way to pick up another cookie. This is, Jermaine's won a few cookies here over the last, at least since the spring season. So another person you got to kind of watch out for. Playing well. Great job, Jermaine. And then moving on, net side, close it out. We've got the 2-shot victory. Sean Keith, really good play in there. Congratulations there. There he is, looking fly there in the black and white. Really good playing across the entire field. Conditions were fabulous. The players took advantage of the great conditions. They took advantage of the better greens, the smoother rolling greens. And I just want to say something about Brack. Every time I roll into Brack, so Brack's an AW Tillinghast course. And there's a golf course I played in Pennsylvania, up in Newcastle Country Club. There was also a design architect, AW Tillinghast. And when I go to Brack and I just step on the grounds, it reminds me of playing back in Newcastle, and it's nostalgic for me. And anytime we set our foot on Brack, I absolutely love it. From the square greens to the layout, there are so many similarities. AW Tillinghast, way to go. But really good job, all our players. Great
There's
job.
There's a book called The Ghosts of Old Brack by Reed Myers. And it is a really cool book. It talks about Tillinghast and the city of San Antonio and building the golf course, and it's really cool.
I mean, I think you think about what Brack is, not only to the city, not only to golf, to Travis. Like, you think about people who have been married there. Like I was talking to Joe Workman. Joe got married there, and if I'm Joe Workman, I'm like, every time I go there, I'm like, this is where I got married. Like, this is where these stuff like that's really cool. Like, I love Brack. It's just such a cool friggin' course, and it's always when it's
my first head professional job was Brack.
Yeah, and when it looks the way it does, and just good call out kind of by Steven Evans here. When Brack's in prime, best course on the trail to play, and fun and unique course, 100%.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And that's mad props coming from somebody who grew up playing links golf courses.
Yeah, not a links course. Yeah.
So
the Europeans are notoriously stuck up.
Yes,
so, big props.
I remember Greg Hiller was the head pro at Brack, maybe a year or two before I was there, and I remember he had a conversation with a guy who was from overseas, and he was like, Brack, I hate trees. This golf course is terrible, but that Mission del Lago, that place is great. And Greg Hiller was losing his mind talking to this guy.
I mean, I definitely have more love for links than I do anything else. But I mean, Brack's one of those courses. Who cares if there's trees there? Like,
Just bomb
make sure
driver
it
and
just make sure it gets in the other fairway.
Yeah, hit it bad enough to get one. It's when you just miss at Brack is when you're
Those
screwed.
slight misses will get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Really miss, it's a great
like-
angle.
Like off the first tee on Sunday, I pulled it and I'm like, get way left, get way left, get way left, be trash. And then it just hit and just rocketed through the trees. I'm like, friggin' perfect.
Wide open.
20 yards, wide open.
Jason Cross won a horse race from over there.
Yeah. I made my birdie from the ninth fairway.
The tree came backwards, then duffed 3-wood, then chunked 9-iron a couple times, and made a 50-footer for 5 net 4 to win a horse race.
That's how it goes sometimes. So
and didn't know he won. And didn't know he won. Well,
Brack is in the books. Before we start jumping into what is coming up next on tour, let's look at our top 10. Definitely some changes, some new names, some names.
Up and out.
Let's pull this up, Trav. Run us through this updated top 10 list.
It's an updated full chart this time. I know we missed a column on this chart last time, but this is the summer season Alamo City Golf Trail division of the 2023 South Texas Amateur Golf Tour. This is the point standings through 5 summer events. And look at Lazaro Gonzalez, 590 points. That's a 65-point lead. He breaks the tie. 2 weeks ago, there was tie T1. 2 were tied at 1. And solo first place for Las by himself. A mere 65 points behind him is Greg Graff in second, up 5 spots. Look at that. Look at the top 4 up, and look at the next 5 down. So there was almost a flip-flop in the top 10. So it's really, really getting exciting. Look at big Jason Bird up 9 spots to third with his gross win. And
that's 3 wins over his last 4 events there.
And look at that missing blank square from him at the season kickoff. He was traveling for work. Even if he's middle of the road points there, he is, maybe T1, second place for sure, right?
For sure.
Look at Brad Gilbert. We were just talking about Brad Gilbert up 6 spots to 4th. Roy Medina was that other T1 from last week. Middle of the flight. Causes you at this stage in the game up here down 4 spots to 5th.
Yeah.
Charles Clark and Sean Vidal tied 6th. Dakota Elbers, our very own Mike Dermanuelian and Chris Arnold, 8th, 9th, and 10th, respectively. This is Chris Arnold's first time in the top 10 on the summer season. But you're right, MD. This list, there's a ton of new names up here, and it's really interesting. Let's talk about Willow Springs while we're looking at this graphic. Willow Springs in 10 days is double points, right?
Yep.
First to second is 65 points. Third to 10th is 70 points. That's it. That is 3.5 places in one flight next week Sunday at Willow with double points. That's 3 places. That's the difference between finishing 3rd and 6th. Is the top 10 in one flight. It's so close. It is stroke play heavy down the stretch. Stroke play. I agree completely. I love this set. Yes. Stroke play at Willow. Willow's going to be long. The rough around the greens is going to be tricky. Hole locations will probably be pretty fair because the course will be a little bit longer than we've seen this season for sure. And then we go to the final team event of the year, open for registration, Mission Del Lago Best Ball, double points. And then we go stroke play at Cedar, stroke play at Olmos, stroke play at Olmos to end the season. I mean, anything can happen. There is this graphic is going to be so interesting to watch down the stretch as people move up, people move down. This flip flops. You start to see the chitter chatter in the comment section, like Sean Vidal maybe missing an event for knee surgery. I don't know.
But I mean,
chitter chatter like that.
I think the bigger thing here. I mean, the team event's a team event. Make that what it is. I think you've got two really unique events where you've got Willow, which the tour hasn't seen this season, which I don't think a lot of people have seen this season. So
huge news in the comment section. Can we auction this off right now? I mean, this is big news. Steven Evans. Anybody wants to play with Steven Evans at the 2-man admission, let him know. Partner is out of town.
Oof.
I mean, that is a free agent on the market right now.
It's a big name.
That is
it is. It is.
Big name.
But I think going in, Willow's going to be fun just because we haven't played it yet. No one's played it competitively. That golf course can be very difficult, and I think when you tip it out, and I think, to be honest, at this point, I think the expectation should be, the courses aren't going to get set up easier. Pace of play is obviously going to be a key factor. We want to make sure that we're playing in that 5-hour round. But at the end of the day, points on the board and making the golf course difficult a little bit more so as we get down the stretch. And then you end up at, finishing off at Cedar before we go into the final 2-day event at Olmos. Cedar, I think, is so much fun because, I've said it before, Cedar will eat your lunch money. Doesn't matter, what level your game is. That golf course, unless you feel super comfortable out there, and even if you do, one bad bounce, one bad kick out there, it's no flat
the numbers add up there fast.
Yeah, you plant one bad thought in your head, MD, and
the numbers add up there fast. Steven Evans currently in 23rd place in the summer point standings, looking for a partner for Mission Del Lago.
I mean, I honestly, I think obviously we say it a million times, every point matters. You should be paying attention to where you are. You should be paying attention to what you're at the point standings. But I honestly, the top 10, top 20 people right now need to just keep playing the game that they're playing. But I think a lot of stuff is going to come down to, I think Cedar and Olmos are going to be the biggest events of this spring season, or of the summer season, the biggest deciding factors. And then if you look at what happened at Brack this weekend, I mean, that's a lot of new. We've got some of the usual suspects. Lazaro winning again. We kind of know Bradley Gilbert's always kind of hanging around there. Jaybird's on the heater right now. Greg Graff has obviously done well. Roy Medina didn't have his best weekend, but he's usually pretty consistent. We did also have, though, half that winning group this weekend or more were new names.
Lots of new golfers, especially in Champ Flight and First Flight. Lots of new single-digit handicappers. Awesome to see. And trivia question. Brackenridge Park this past Sunday, 130 in the field. What was the hardest hole? What was the hardest hole in relationship to par through the entire field?
14 seems like the most obvious.
I always go to 14, but yeah, I just don't. I'm not going to pick that this time.
14 is the all T's update chart. Sorry.
Charles Park says 16.
14 is the number 2 hardest hole.
Oh, so it sticks with the okay. So that sticks true. Would we say
Then-
number 3 then?
I mean,
Number 3 was middle of the pack. Number 9.
Number 9.
number
Wow.
9 was the hardest, really.
No. It was
Oh,
hole
number
number
nine
3
in
was
the
the
rank.
9th hardest
Gotcha.
hole in
Okay.
order.
Middle of the
So
pack.
Charles Clark says 16. Steve Evans says 5. Greg says 6. I cannot imagine 5 being the hardest.
5 was ranked 11th. 6, the number 1 handicap hole number 6, was ranked 14.
Yeah.
Charles Clark hit it on the head. It was hole number 16.
16.
Yeah.
But it goes 16, 14, and then this is the one that really surprised me. 18 was the third hardest hole, was hole number 18.
That's kind of surprising. I mean, I guess that pin being up front a little bit, anything short or anything wide right too on that.
This is the chart that I was looking at. Combining first flight and championship flight together, hole number 18 was the most difficult hole for people who played the black tee box. How crazy is that?
And it
What
played
was
like
scoring? What was the-
160, I think. It was
It
like
only,
162.
it played 165.
Yeah.
165. I mean, I 8-iron to the middle and maybe like a 22-footer coming just back down from the left side.
Let's check the middle of the field. The blue tee boxes. The number 1, the hardest hole there. Then we get back into the trend. 16, then 14, then 9. Wow.
I mean, 9 I think becomes difficult for one of 2 reasons. Either one, you just absolutely screw up the tee shot and you're OB.
Yeah.
Or you try and play it like safe and you try and like take that left side out and you just say, okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to pull it. I mean, if you go through the fairway, the wind was helping enough. If you put it through the fairway on 9 and you got stuck somewhere in between that tree line, between 9 and 1, I mean, that was going to make it a difficult shot getting around. So, I mean, and the rough around that green too is pretty thick. I mean, that was
it's an elevated green, right? There's that bunker to the right. Also, MD, you got to remember that out of bounds kind of, it creeps up there by the green on your second shot. You get a little squirmy up there, leak one out there to the right, your second shot too, right?
I think, to me, like, I think the hardest par 5 on tour, and I'm excited to go back to Willow being number 2. Number 2 at Willow, tipped out, and all out on the right.
Okay, I have a very interesting statistic. I love this.
Let's go.
This is great. We're talking about hole difficulty at Brackenridge Park from this past weekend. We have now isolated the senior golfers from the flights. We've now isolated the senior golfers. This is an amazing statistic. And MD is going to go right into preparatory for the heat. Hydrate, prepare, drink lots of water, eat fruit, that type of stuff. Check this out. The hardest hole was 14. The second hardest hole was 17. The third hardest hole was 16. The fourth hardest hole was 18. The fifth hardest hole was 12. The sixth hardest hole was 13. And the seventh hardest hole was number 10. The top 8 were all on the back 9. So
that is a stat.
There's a stat for fatigue right there. I mean, that is crazy. Completely different trend than the rest of the stats from the rest of the field combined.
And that, I mean, it makes sense. It is, I mean, it especially when it comes to like hydration, all that kind of stuff. I was reading something golf specific for like hydration and prep, and it was like the 6-5-6 rule or this something like that. But essentially, like before you go out and play, you'll have like granola bar, get some water in. You should be drinking a couple ounces of water per hole and kind of like getting you to a point where you're refilling. After 5 holes, you should be eating as well, and then you're going to go on a stretch and just kind of do that again. It is prep work. I mean, that's exactly what it comes down to.
You're exactly right. I knew that's exactly where I was sorting tee boxes, and I'm like, it just went like from mix match to boom, on the back 9 for the white tee boxes there. I mean, that was crazy.
It's very telling. Very telling.
It is a testament to your stamina, Greg Keogh, and your fitness.
Now, if we could just fix his swing, it's not the stamina that's the problem, right? That picture is just the best. That's the best picture.
We're talking
probably
about Greg Keogh's stamina right now. I mean, yes.
I mean, look at that picture. He looks like a model.
So, I mean, we've been talking about affiliate marketing programs a lot. We can go down the rabbit hole with that.
I mean, I'm not. You know what? I have marketing ideas, but I won't say them out loud because they're mean. They're mean. I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, but that is definitely a not safe for live publication marketing brainstorming session.
I've got a bunch of really fun ideas.
That's so good, Greg Keogh. That's so good. It's so good. So good. So good.
But
I love your rigid sense of humor.
You know what? He's one of the guys we can make fun of, and we can talk a little shit, and he'll laugh and know that we just love him. That's it.
So great.
But let's, as we're getting ready to wrap up here, we're at the 56.5-minute mark.
So
let us talk about what is coming up next. Obviously, we have Willow coming up on the 20th. That is double points. Huge back to Willow. We're about halfway, getting near 2/3 of the way signed up. We're going to obviously have some more posts going out, but if you haven't signed up, get signed up. MDL, 2-person best ball open for sign up as well. And I would anticipate, Travis, correct me if I'm wrong, we'll probably see Cedar and Olmos open up here in the next week or two as well, and get the rest of the season basically ready to get listed.
That is an accurate forecast. I know the Tour Travels team has some recon missions coming up this weekend, so there's some airline time this weekend. So that's good newsletter time. But newsletter went out tonight. Mission Del Lago Best Ball opened today, or yesterday, actually. That is a hard cap. That is big news there. Shotgun start. Morning, Saturday, shotgun starts. Crazy how good they have been lately. So, shotgun start at Mission. We'll do our best to get out of the heat there as much as we can. Willow Springs, double points. Look for the flight order to change just a wee bit in the Willow event. I know the tour setup committee was talking about that just a little bit. It was hot at Brack. And you're exactly correct. Next newsletter, we should see a player count left for Willow, which should be slim pickings by the weekend, I would think, based on the big field at Brack, right? Yep. And we should see the stroke play at Cedar and the PC Open, the battle for the green jacket. We should see that open up. And I mean, man, how
about that? We're talking about opening up registration for the Battle of the Green Jacket. I mean,
yes, and I was talking with MD this morning on the phone, and I'm like, MD, we need to start hammering out the schedule for the South Texas Match Play Challenge because the playoffs are 1 week late this year. We snuck an extra event into the summer season, 9 events this year in the summer season, so the playoffs are a week late, and it goes playoffs. Halloween practice round, South Texas Match Play Challenge. And it comes up fast, and we're going to have some graphics and some huge promo videos coming up for South Texas Match Play Challenge down the stretch. I know MD's excited to show some of that content coming up. And I know we'll have tons of media at High Meadow Ranch with the South Texas Amateur Golf Tour team. I mean, heck, I think we're even going to have media badges to give out. So really, really excited. We're talking about PC Open. We're talking about point standings down the stretch. We're talking about opening the rest of the season. We're talking about playoffs, and we're talking about arguably the most important South Texas Match Play Challenge of my career. We suffered a very devastating, heartbreaking defeat at Olmos Basin last year. It was our first time that the tour has lost at home, and only the third time we've lost overall. And now we've never had to travel to Houston coming off of a loss. I don't know exactly what that dynamic is going to be like, and with one less practice round week. So
I was thinking about this today because I was thinking about going back to Willow and thinking about scores and all this stuff. And I'm like, I think what we think a lot about, I think the last couple of years has been a real kind of build up. I think we're at kind of peak talent, not peak talent, but we're at one of the most talented times in our tour's history. I think that, I mean, I'm honestly, whoever makes the team this year is gonna be really solid. And I think that anyone who's on that team, whether it's their first time or it's a return, I think they're gonna have enough background in competition. I think they're gonna have enough game that I think we're gonna go kick some ass in Houston this year.
Well, I think the year before when we were at Wildcat, I think that was just, it was such a, man, what's the right word? A chippy atmosphere. It was such a chippy atmosphere that year where it was almost like some of the camaraderie, the interclub camaraderie was like, okay, now this is for real. This is intense. This is, we're developing a rivalry here. And maybe there was some more gamesmanship and it was more tense than it had ever been. And it was so cool. And to see some of our players rise to that occasion, specifically talking about Casey Graham making that putt in the dark for a full point, and Steven Evans coming back the next morning and closing out a very heavily contested back and forth match with, maybe some tempers flaring a little bit at times, and going birdie to close out that match the next morning. I mean, that was a really cool, like, tour history moment. And then that comes back and, we win on the road, and then Houston comes right back the next year and beats us at Olmos Basin. And, I ain't going to lie. Casey said in the comment that it hurt most of all years. And it was a really difficult loss as a captain because, man, I mean, shit, it felt like we played almost 35 times last year. It felt like we were there all the time, and we couldn't win. We couldn't win down the stretch in singles. And man, it's like singles is our jam, and we just couldn't close the door. So listen,
it's a different year.
It's easy. It's easy to be the captain when you're winning, right? And the people who make the team this year are going to see something a little different out of me this year, captain wise. So this is an important one. So let's finish strong. Lots of stroke play. Lots of stroke play.
Lots of stroke
cash
play.
For gift cards. If you can't win gift cards on tour, you can't win matches in the South Texas Match Play Challenge.
I would agree. Well, guys, not much more to be said than that. Every point matters, and we are at a pivotal point in the season. The home stretch here, it's going to go by really fast. And whether you've played in the playoffs before or this is your first season, shit's intense.
I love the playoffs. I love the playoffs.
It's going to be good. But before we get to these big things coming up here over the next couple of months, we got to make our way through Willow next week. And that is where we look forward to seeing you guys all back again on the golf course. First time back to Willow this season. Double points if you're not signed up. Get signed up today.
I like Willow. I'm excited to go to
Oh,
Willow.
yeah.
I love Willow.
I love scoring in the grill there. I think the food is really good. I love scoring on the windows. I love the 15, 20 people standing on the deck cheering people on hole 18. I love that. I love Willow as a venue. It's a cool course. And really cool, really dynamic stretch run here down the summer season in the ACGT division. This is going to be fun. This is going to be cool. And I love the playoffs. There's nothing like those first 2 rounds where there's big cuts for the first time. It's gut-wrenching. I love it.
It is.
So exciting. So exciting.
So much emotion. So much emotion.
I love it. I love it.
But guys, that is all I have for us tonight. I'm excited for the playoffs, but excited to get back to Willow. Excited to just kind of get these last couple of events in and see where these points end up, see who's ending up on top, and who our next 3 team members are before we head into the playoffs. And all that starts off with Willow next week.
Woo, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. We love y'all. We love the tour Tuesday nights. MD, thank you for hosting as always. Awesome to be here with you guys. DH, rocking the man bun.
Great show. Congratulations to all our Brack winners. Great playing at Brack. Carry that over into Willow. Sign up now. It will sell out.
It will sell out.
You don't want to have to wait to get on a waiting list like Kevin Keeney and then pull out a win.
STXAmtour.golf. Sign up now. 2 events open for registration. Both double points.
Right. Yep. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight, guys. We will see you next Tuesday and followed up with Willow. Going to be great. We will see you guys next week. Everyone have a good rest of your week. Get some practice in this weekend. The tour boys the tour boys are on the road traveling, doing some stuff this weekend. We'll post some pictures of that as well. But everyone have a good rest of your week, and we will see you next week.
Woo, thanks for watching, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Peace.